And it's my pleasure to bring in the next speaker, who happened to be the current Surveyor General of the Federation of Nigeria, and that is Surveyor Abuduganiyu Adeyemi Adebomehin. He is our next speaker, and please, can you begin to project your slides while I read a short profile of yours here. Are you able to share your screen? Okay, and please permit me to do the short introduction of our next speaker, Surveyor Adebomehin. Like I said, is the Surveyor General of the Federation of Nigeria, and with over 3 decades of professional experience, he holds a degree, BSc degree in surveying from the University of Lagos, and many other professional qualifications, and he has since played a leading role in geospatial and boundary management at different levels, including the development of Nigeria's GNSS, continuously operating reference stations, known as SAGNET, and various national geospatial infrastructure initiatives. He's a respected fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, and he is dedicated to advocacy for geospatial innovation and regional collaboration. He was appointed as the Secretary General of the Federation about 3 years ago in Nigeria, and he has continued to champion the growth of geospatial science across Africa. It's my pleasure to bring in our #1 surveyor in Nigeria, and that is in person of Surveyor Adebomehin to the podium. Thank you. The floor is yours. Can you unmute? Can you unmute from the workstation that you are using?
Hello, sir.
All right, sir. We can hear you now.
Yeah. Yes, good afternoon. Good morning. How are you, sir? My prof, Professor Rabiu. And I want to say a big thank you to you and other members of the organizing team. We will say a big thank you because this is one of the opportunities where we can showcase what we have, look at the problems of across the region, and try to see how we can leverage on the problem to look for solutions. I will briefly talk for about 5 minutes, for about 10 minutes. I have along with me our collaborator here with me, in the name of Professor Rui Fernandez. He came on a visit. He came on a visit to Nigeria, and I want him to throw a little light on this too. In Nigeria, when you talk about geodetic framework, we have the first order, we have the second order, we have the third order, and they are all based on the Clark 1880 LA soil, and we have the 1990, and we have the L40 as the center of it all. Having said this, I will not want to take most of our time with the history of how it has been, but I would just want us to know that we have the origin of Nigerian reference frame as L40, which is based on the Clark 1880, and the datum is what we call been referenced there too. Having said this, sir, I want to jump and tell us about the parameters, the projection of the Nigerian reference frame. I want to say that we have the central meridian as 8:30 because it ranges from 2:30 to, I think, 14:30. So if it ranges between 2:30 to 14:30, then we have the central meridian as 8:30. We have the eastern falls as 670, 553, the northern as 812, 294, and the scale factor of 0.99975. If you look at the country Nigeria, to the north, sir, we have a series of hills there, and to the south, we have a flat land. So when you look at it, what the government has done in the early 20th century was to try to see how to marriage together the hill observation with the flat observation. It was a tough exercise. In fact, not until the advent of sophisticated software, manually to marry the two was a serious problem. So the triangulation network now, this is what we have as the triangulation network of Nigeria. I knew we participated in a lot of computation, observation, the Galileo, the 12 parallel observation, and then the GPS campaign. The GPS campaign was basically between 1993 to 1995. And I want to say that I want to count myself as one of the luckiest few. I participated in the GPS campaign for about 3 or 4 years. It nearly cost me my marriage because it was an exercise that we were going to say that, okay, you will come back in about 2-3 weeks' time. And I found myself being on that project for almost 3 years. So what we have on the frame is the first geodetic framework of Nigeria. We have the second geodetic framework of Nigeria, and we have the third other controls. But we basically concentrate, when you talk about AFREV, on the first geodetic framework. And we call them the passive station. This passive station, which are first order and second order, we have over 3,200 of it covering Nigeria, which is very massive. And during the 1993 to 1995 campaign, we actually visited nothing less than 80 to 85% of all these stations. That is bringing them up, upgrading them to the ITRF. I think that ITRF then was ITRF 2014. And it cost the government a lot of money. So we take a detour from there, sir. We take a detour from there. We now move into the post. Okay, that's the post-independent era. So we now take a detour from there. We now come into the real AFREV region. When we talk about the transition to modern reference frame of the 21st century, we were able to establish at first 6 or 7 stations. I think we are establishing about 7 stations, sir. So using the WGS84, we were able to do that. In fact, the first station was established in August 2009 in our headquarters here. So we have it on top of the building, and after that, we've tried to see how to expand beyond this just service station. In all, because of funding, we have not been able to go beyond the 21 station as I speak now. And one ugly thing is that most of the stations, apart from the one established by the office, are concentrated towards the southern part of the country. That is dividing the country into two. We have the northern part, the southern part, not the sea geographical zone we are talking about now. And we have most of these stations concentrated in the southern part of the country. That does not mean that we don't have in the north. At least I can count about 4 or 5 established by the office in the north. We have in Kano, we have in Kaduna, we have in Yola. I think we have in Maiduguri. In fact, Maiduguri station is about 3 in 1 station. The first one was blew up by Boko Haram. We put in the second one. Another, the same thing happened. Then we now finally have to move it out of that place and take it to the center of the office in Maiduguri. So that's why I said Maiduguri station is a 3 in 1 station. We have equally in the former president's state in Daura. I want to believe that Daura too was blown up recently. So these are some of the problems militating against some of these stations. But I want to sincerely appreciate Andre and Bele for their effort, including those other members of the committee, because AFREP is something that some people believe is money government. You keep on spending, and they were waiting for when they will reap. But different states, different country has its own modus operandi when it comes to provision of geodetic control. When we started initially, one of my boss will always tell me if I go to him to pay for the internet infrastructure, he say, why did you come up with this kind of technology that is only collecting money from you and nothing is coming back in return? But today, they give us kudos because they are now out of service and they now know that they need to tie their job to a more, not only more recent, but more sophisticated control point. And this has given us a kind of a plus ahead of what it used to be. But what I want us to really look at, sir, part of it is the stations being donated into IGS platform infrastructure. We have the station. How many have we been able to donate into the IGS? We used to have one before. I'm not too very sure because I don't know the status of the station now. I say I don't know the status of the station because the station was partly taken over by our center in Toro. That is your sister's officer. So center of geodynamics. So the station is there, and I don't know whether they still continue to send their data to IGS. But I'm going to promise that because we are looking at a program where we want to overall all the equipment. Because when you have an equipment that has spanned 16, 17 years, it's just like buying a good Mercedes-Benz 16 years ago, and you are still saying it's a good vehicle. Well, all is good. It's a good vehicle. But the technology of that time and what we have now are not the same thing, sir. One other thing is that they are obsolete, and they may not have the opportunity of receiving signal from some of these new satellites, most especially the Bedu. So, having said this now, sir, I want us, because when as Andre was presenting, sir, he did mention the need for more collaboration, the need for us to have more funding, and I want to suggest that at the conference of the ministers, there's need for us to make a presentation so that if we all know the beauty and the gain inherent in establishment of core and the AFREP program, it will be easier for us to get funding. But if we all agree, just like the way the way Afrigis is being run, of course, Afrigis is AU company, but when you go to the Minister for Finance or go before the President and you let them know that there's need for us to come up with our subscription, honestly, since I've been on this seat, there's never been a time they fail. In fact, they have even approved for 2025. They just approved it about 2 hours ago. So I could see the reason if we come together under the platform of the Conference of Ministers to look at the problem of AFREF, I think we may be able to go beyond where we are now. Because if you want to look at the normal budgetary line to solve the problem of AFREF, I'm talking about Nigeria, you may not be able to get such an opportunity. And we are pushing. We are pushing. We don't rest on our hearts. We will still be pushing because I want us to see it as a special infrastructure. Because in all, even though I said it's 21, we still have over 60 core established by private companies and the state government in Nigeria. An effort is on to see how we are going to bring all of them together. So I want to pause so that our collaborator and our consultant can contribute a bit, because there is a lot to be said, and we'll try and see how we can have another opportunity, and then we'll sit down. And there's a program we are running now. We are trying to go on ITRF 2024 now. We are currently on ITRF 2014, and we want to run a program and see how we can upgrade all the sessions to ITRF 2024. So let me just pause here. And allow our collaborator and our consultant to contribute a bit. This is just the picture of what we have. The public, we said they have 26. That is the one we can talk of. I know in Abuja, I know about 3 or 4 that we have to even challenge them, whether it's an espionage, because we will receive their signal, but unfortunately, they are not on our network. So we'll find a way to see how to bring all this together, and we'll improve on it. So let me just hand over. I want to appreciate everybody and sincerely thank everybody. So let me just hand over to Professor Rui Fernandez from University of Beira Interior to just contribute 1 or 2 things. The professor.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not expecting this handover. It's my pleasure to be. First, it's my pleasure to be in this meeting. As also a member of the IGS governing board. It's to have the opportunity, in fact, to attend this very important meeting here in Africa, in Nigeria, where for a long time I've been collaborating also with Osgolf. That was one of the first countries also trying to promote installation of core stations for in the framework of the AFREF. And as the Survey General has explained, currently there are many difficulties here, but there are also big efforts in trying to, in fact, to improve the current situation with the national network, with NIGNET, and with the goal also to actively contribute for AFREF and also for IGS. So also discussions here how we can, in fact, Nigeria also can actively contribute for IGS by providing some stations to the network. So, and one of the reasons, in fact, why I'm now here is to also to discuss that and the way forward to do that. So I just want to finish to thank for this initiative that is really important and is really leading to, to it's small steps that we can do to go forward, to move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So that's what we have for now. We hand over back to the organizers and if there are questions, So this is just the passive reference point we have. At least we cannot put the whole of 33,000 something here. So we just select some and put them here, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the Surveyor General of the Federation of Nigeria. And it's a pleasure also to have our consultant, Fernandez, on ground.
Yes, sir.
Participating. I think is a welcome idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Want to just take, maybe there will be one question. I don't know. We took one question. We still have time for discussion towards the end. But is there any question from the audience?
I do not see anything in the chat or raised hands so far.
Okay. Okay. I think one thing that is standing out, and I would like to also underscore it, that I believe the presence of Fernandez in Nigeria at this time shows that the Nigerian system is also trying to look through the reference frames and see how a lot of systems can be upgraded. And so thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
Sir. Thank you, Pro. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Bell. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, sir. So
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, you're most welcome, sir. So I think you can unshare your screen while we go to the next presenter.